This is exactly the impression we don't want to give.
Please, Jamal. Don't you see how all this works in our favor? It's not up for discussion. I won't risk what we've worked so hard to achieve.
Yes?
It's done. So, Akris has sent our newest reverend to inquire about Sahima. Don't worry. Jamal's already told me all about you. I'm Razma, elder of House Kadik and head of the Ministry of Conjunction. You're right. It's not wise to waste time on pleasantries, especially now. Besides, who am I to argue with the Great Serpent's choice? I know the Council is looking to Sahima for answers, but the truth is, she's been taken, along with other members of the House. They're being held hostage by zealots, and now they're demanding negotiations.
This is a major overreach. I have never known the zealots to be so bold.
As much as I'd welcome the expertise, the zealots would never allow an outsider to participate. But the negotiations aren't where I need assistance. The zealots have yet to name specifics. At best, they'll demand an inordinate amount of credits or firearms. Worst case, a seat at the High Council or even the reinstatement of their house. House Maleen. They know we can't risk Sahima for Dazra's sake. So, they won't hold back when it comes to demands. Aha. My thoughts exactly. Normally I'd have agents doing everything possible to find them. But we too suffered losses. We need to be here. Present. It's the only reason I even agreed to these negotiations. But now that you're here... And that is where the issue lies. I don't know where the zealots are keeping Sahima, but I have... Their name is Merrick. Merrick is a Kadik, and they also work for me as an agent in the Ministry of This is where matters get... Indeed, they are. As I said, Merrick works for me in the Ministry of Conjunction. They've been establishing an inside relationship with the Zealots for some time now. On my orders. Forcing them to give up the information could jeopardize all they've worked for. So don't expect them to be forthcoming. Get the information any way you see fit. As long as no physical harm comes to them.
Understood.
See that you do. You'll find Merrick upstairs in the meditation room.
You're no member of House Kadik. What are you doing here? And you are? Ah, the heretic turned promised. I was wondering when our paths would cross. So tell me, what would a chosen one such as yourself want with someone like me? Perhaps you need to lay off the Koza, my friend. You're talking nonsense. Absolutely ridiculous. Did she now? I guess this means the High Council is still asking Auntie Razma where Sahima is. And if you're here making demands, She obviously has decided to make use of you rather than undergo sincere negotiations. I see what's going on here. Easy. You ask me where Sahima is. I refuse because my work is vastly more important than yours. Then you go back to Auntie Rosma and tell her to go through with the negotiations. I've worked hard to obtain my position with the Zealots. And like I've told Rosma 1,000 times, I have no reason to believe they're going to hurt my dear cousins, especially Sahima. So, as far as I'm concerned, that information stays with me. Sahima isn't just being held hostage, they're putting her to work. The Zealots aren't stupid. They know what Sahima was involved in, and if they can beat us to that tech, they're going to try. Oh, I don't think so. True. Given the circumstances, a bit more caution may be needed here. I won't argue her importance. I do have a gift. Perhaps you're right. All right, I'll let you in on their location. But remember, you're the only one that knows. If word spreads, I'll know exactly who's to blame. The location you're looking for is Shadow Station Epsilon. It's an old Varun base that they've taken over for themselves. Rosma will know it. Let her tell you the details, seeing as how I'm about to be reassigned. It better.
I hope Merrick was forthcoming. You must have gotten the location. Ah, yes, the old Varun military outpost. It's a remnant of the Serpent's Crusade. If my intel is correct, you can find Shadow Station Epsilon in the Badlands, north of Dazra. I can send you the coordinates. The sooner the better.
We will do whatever is necessary to bring Sahima and the others back safely.
Now that we have a rescue mission underway, I'll speak to Merrick about setting up the negotiations. I expect them to be pliable after their last encounter with you. The current plan is to hold them at one of the geothermal power stations. Meet us there when Sahima and the others are safe. Good. Serpent willing. Your timing will line up. I'll stall the Zealots as long as I can, which shouldn't be an issue. That being said, I'd still appreciate it if you could act quickly. Now, Jamal wants an update before you leave. Just don't let her distract you for too long.
Reverend, a word before you go. Tell me, Reverend, what do you know about the Zealots? An oversimplified observation, but correct nonetheless. The Zealots are widely frowned upon within our society. They're a remnant of the Serpent's Crusade, days we'd like to forget. Has my dear sister given you any history on our house's relations with the Zealots? I'm surprised she even mentioned that much. Rasma would have everyone believe she only wishes to keep an eye on the Zealots, so the Council can make informed decisions. The truth is, she's had this particular group of Zealots under her thumb for quite some time. This is only a problem now because she's lost control. That is the real reason why Rasma hasn't informed the High Council, and I'm sworn...
I would argue that what you describe would be considered treason. And rightly so.
Does it? I'd be curious to know what you've discussed. House Kadik already has a reputation for... Rasma wants the Zealots to back House Kadik, so the balance of power between the noble house... She's been employing them, paying them in supplies that aid their blind... It's not for everyone. What none of us expected was the disaster that is the Scaled Citadel. The aftermath is what allowed the Zealots to grab Sahima and the others, flipping the balance of power in their favor. Rasma has lost control and is putting House Kadik's reputation and power at risk. She only appears that way now because she has you to fix it. House Kadik shouldn't be associating with Zealots at all, except on an exterminate. But worse, we absolutely cannot be supplying them with ordnance of any kind. We need to cut ties with the Zealots altogether. How astute. I want you to put an end to any connections between House Kadik and while my position won't allow me to be blunt, I'll still make it clear.
House Kadik would go to any lengths, it seems.
I'm doing what I must to preserve this house. All you need to get is Sahima's research, which she has with her. Excellent. As you may have guessed, we can't afford any loose ends, and you'll need a cover story for Rasma. When you arrived, the Zealots had already killed the hostages, so you exacted revenge in House Kadik's name. You'd fit well in the Ministry of Conjunction. That is, if you succeed. I look forward to seeing you at the negotiations.
Any news from your agent?
Mind your surroundings. Even the plants here can be dangerous.
Are you prepared to die? Someone or something will clean up whatever's left behind.